That's okay. Hi everyone. So today we're gonna have those mean Vietnamese. So this is the first time that Force Asia is doing something like this. I think it's a very rare opportunity to get connected with the blockchain ecosystem, and specifically with Arbitrum today. So it's very different. It's going to be a much more hands-on workshop than what you're used to. So feel free to ask questions, get your laptops out, and like get involved. I think today we want to be as hands-on as possible. Okay. We are a very friendly bunch. So if you need anything, feel free to reach out to us. And today, I think for the overall agenda, we're going to have a couple talks. And tomorrow there's going to be Web3 Day also. So today we're going to start with an overview of Arbitrum. And then we'll follow up with a more hands-on workshop about Orbit. So Arbitrum Orbit, it's like a developer tool that you can use to build on Arbitrum, right? Now, the thing about Web3 folks like us is that sometimes we forget what things usually sound like in the developer space. So if you need any help with like terms or with what we're working on, or maybe some what do you call it? Some terms that you're not sure about, like feel free to ask us. Like we'll be happy to go around to help you with the conversation. Okay. Then after that we'll have lunch. So I'd like to encourage everybody to stay until lunch at least, because then we're going to follow up after that with like much more hands-on examples for Arbitrum Stylus, which is also another dev tool. Today's session will end at about 3:30. So please stay for the entire session and I'll see you. So without further ado, let's get started. Can we put our hands together for our first speaker, Taka?
Thank you, thank you. Great to be here. Okay, and then the organizer said, if I'm talking too fast or my English is way too heavily accented, you can scan that QR code for a real-time translation from English to Vietnamese. So if it's easier for you, please do that. Actually, Jack just showed me the real demo. It's really beautiful. So you might actually blow my cover. Anyway, great to be. It's my first time to be here in Hanoi, and really good to be here representing the Arbitrum ecosystem. Me and Jason are here, and two more will be joining virtually today to walk you through really the exciting opportunities to build on Arbitrum. A little bit about myself. My name is Taka, Japanese, based in Singapore. I lead marketing for the Arbitrum Foundation. And today I wanted to really share with you, what Arbitrum looks like, what a great opportunity it is, and to onboard next generation of users onto Web3. Now, okay, so why are we talking about Arbitrum today? Let's just start with that. I mean, I don't know how Web3 native you guys are, but I think you have heard it about, like Ethereum, layer 2 scaling, blah, 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 right? But what are we talking about Arbitrum today? So long story short, it's really is that Arbitrum is the largest scaling solution out there, right? It has really accomplished significant growth milestones since its mainnet launch in August 2021. So it's been only around for about 3+ years, yet it has really emerged as the undisputed scaling solution, right? Largest layer 2 project with the total value lock of over $3 billion, right? 2.5 times the biggest, 2.5 times the second biggest. And then if you actually look at DeFi Llama, where you can actually track how much of the total value lock volume there is. Sorry, miss over there. Consistent ranks in top 5. Also biggest in terms of bridged ETH volume, 1.5 million ETH to be exact, which is roughly right now at the current price around $5 billion US, which reside in Arbitrum bridges. And that means liquidity to the DeFi projects. So if you're thinking about building DeFi projects, look no further, right? And then 636 million plus transactions executed last 12 months. Now, if you look at the daily transaction, it's quite already at the same level as Ethereum right now. So it really shows the size of it, right? So when I say largest, that's what the Arbitrum is. Now, numbers are great. I'm pretty sure you've seen the numbers, and there will be more numbers thrown at you. But what I really want you to do is let's just take a step back, right? And then it's like, why does Arbitrum exist? Why does all this layer two stuff, right? So back in 2015, when the Ethereum launched, technology was super powerful. It was very promising. Yet there was one challenge, which is that the design was not yet built for scalability for the mass adoption, right? So the question to be really solved here was how to make Ethereum accessible to developers to develop application at the level of the scalability and affordability that web needs, right? And that's where the Arbitrum came in. So if you ever want to find like where did this Arbitrum come from, actually you should go on YouTube. YouTube is accessible here, right, in Vietnam. Go there and then look for the Arbitrum lecture at Princeton, which was done by Ed Felton, which is one of the three co-founders of Off-Chain Lab that created Arbitrum. And then he was already talking about this way early before the Ethereum was launched. So what is Arbitrum? And what makes it so unique? So I think you hear layer 2 blockchain. That's right. Now, as the name suggests, layer 2 blockchain, it's a blockchain that sits on top of another blockchain, and in this case is the Ethereum. And then Arbitrum takes a lot of computation off-chain, leaving the Ethereum lean and robust. But Arbitrum still derives the security from Ethereum. Okay, so that's the layer 2 portion of it. Now, how does Arbitrum derive the security from Ethereum if the execution is moved off-chain? And then the concept I think you have heard about is proving, right? If you can prove the correctness of what happens on Ethereum off-chain instead of putting it directly everything, right? So then you can scale. And then Arbitrum uses an interactive fraud processing proving process called the optimistic rope. I think you have heard of this before if you have studied a little bit about Web3. And so it optimistically assumes that things are correct, but anyone can go and engage with fraud proofs to check the validity of these transactions. So what does it really all this mean, right? Arbitrum really scales blockchain with the best technology out there, but that also provides flexibility. That's what I need you to take away. Now we're gonna go a little bit deeper, and then Jason's gonna more technical. So sorry, this is a little bit, if it's too high level for you, just bear with me a little bit. But I think it's very important that we get the high level, right? Now, okay, now you kind of got like, okay, why Arbitrum? What is Arbitrum? Okay, what is so unique about it, right? Then we're gonna get into, oh, okay, so what products do you guys have, right? So Arbitrum is a suite of these Ethereum scaling solutions, right? Each offering slight different capabilities catering to different use cases, right? So when I say use cases, like a gaming, decentralized finance, decentralized exchanges, things like that, right? So starting from the left, so Arbitrum 1, and then if you feel like, oh, this is so much stuff, I think the part that I definitely want you to look at is like, what kind of use cases are there, right? Which one is really optimal for? Again, the point is more about flexibility, but I think if you kind of want to understand like what it is and everything, you should look at here. All right, so starting with Arbitrum 1, it is designed for the general use, providing the scalability and the cost effectiveness, okay? For running Ethereum compatible smart contract, and this is mainly suitable for the DeFi and then the NFT project. Moving to the next one though, Arbitrum Nova is designed for applications that require a higher transaction throughput. And that don't necessarily require the full decentralization that DeFi's need, okay? So more suitable for gaming, social dApps, things like that, which I will get into. Now, the key difference between these two is that the Arbitrum 1 provides Ethereum's complete trustlessness, okay? Using the rollups, while Arbitrum Nova is more useful in situations where the affordability and performance are more required. Okay, so that's the difference between, that's what the implication in terms of the kind of use cases you're building. Now, there's a third one you notice, Arbitrum Orbit, which we'll definitely talk more in detail. But long story short, it's the one that I want you to really take away about Orbit is customization, customizability. Okay, clearly I'm not exciting. this chain can be can really help you build your own L2 or L3 orbit chains, and they can L3 orbit chains can settle to the other L2s, such as Arbitrum 1, which then settles to the Ethereum. Okay, what else? So today also we're going to talk about Stylus equal EVM plus. What is Stylus? It's an upgrade that is right now currently in the test nets, right? Currently introducing a new virtual machine that runs alongside the EVM. And it allows developers to write in coding languages that you might be more familiar with, like Rust, C, C++, and so on and so forth, right? We think Stylus is going to be a game changer, especially for developers, because you have the capabilities to onboard the next generation of developers like yourselves, right? You guys are learning how to code everything in different languages. And it allows you because it broadens your choices of coding languages, right? And it activates new use cases that user could not or had a difficulty doing on the EVM chains. Okay. Sorry, I just jumped a bit. Okay, so that was, all right, I'm now louder. Okay. All right, shifting the gear. So now I kind of did the high level overview. Okay, I'm going to kind of go into each one. I will definitely more deep dive into the Arbitrum 1 and lightly touch on the Nova Orbit and so on and so forth, and then talk about how you can participate in the Arbitrum ecosystem. Okay. Okay, so first, I want to go deep dive into Arbitrum 1. So Arbitrum 1 is recognized as the most advanced and decentralized and secured layer 2 chain by analyst L2Beat. And its block speed is nearly the best you can get on any layer 2 scaling solutions out there with under 1 second performance. And Arbitrum Orbit, which we'll talk later on, will go much faster down to 0.1 second per block. And then Arbitrum 1 is, in fact, the most bridge to network in crypto for the efficient service that it offers. I mean, these are just, numbers. And so, right, $15 billion total value bridge, 40% rollup market share. I mean, just numbers, but it really just shows you the massive adoption that's been getting. And then you hear a lot about how Arbitrum is the home for DeFi, or the place for DeFi innovation, because I think I mentioned more than 1.5 million ETH is now, but roughly $5 billion worth of Ethereum resides in the Arbitrum bridges. So if you're looking to develop any kind of DeFi projects, right, you want to be where all the other protocols are being developed, right, from a liquidity perspective. You cannot build your DeFi project in a silo. You want to make sure that you build it in the ecosystem where the users are, where the high quality users are, where the liquidity is. And then, sorry, I know it might be a little bit small, but Arbitrum 1 is a go-to place where projects innovate derivatives and futures products. So GMS, for example, which is the one here, is the leading derivative protocol, and it's built native on Arbitrum. Another DeFi protocol that may have started elsewhere also come next to Arbitrum. So TraderJoe, for instance, started on Avalanche, and then first kind of expansion stop was Arbitrum. So you can see that we are really the home of DeFi. And then when you look at all this, other kind of, decentralized finance kind of, use cases. Okay. This one, I don't know which, okay, it was taken on April 3rd. We were number 3. And because, I mean, this, volume changes obviously every day. The ranking might change, but we're consistently in the top 5 for the decentralized exchange, or what we call DEX. Volume. What more? Arbitrum ecosystem is huge. So with what you consider as what we call blue chips in Web3. So I think, I don't think I need to go through any of them, because I think you definitely recognize a few of these brands. And then also some of these are built native on the Arbitrum 1. So it really just shows the size and the robustness of our of the Arbitrum ecosystem. And then it is stopping. It's not stopping at all. It's expanding, and it's just nothing short of the big partners. It has some of the biggest partners in the ecosystem, like Chainlink. I don't know if you've heard of it, and Robinhood. And so, Chainlink, for example, has integrated with Arbitrum 1 with its wallet infra, and then even written step-by-step guide on how easy it is to launch smart contracts on Arbitrum. And Robinhood allows users of Robinhood wallet to trade swaps on Arbitrum. So there's a lot more integration coming up here. Okay, so you now know that Arbitrum 1, home for DeFi. Moving to Nova, which is increasingly popular with gaming and social. So Arbitrum Nova, compared to One, think of it as a high-performance alternative to the One chain. While like One implements the purely trustless rollup protocol, the Nova implements the mostly trustless any trust protocol. Now, I'm not going to get too much into it, but the key difference is that this any trust protocol, which Nova is built on, introduces a permission committee to store the chain's data and provide it on demand, right? And this alternative approach allows developers to meet the demands of low gas fees and high performance in scenarios like gaming, right? NFTs. I mean, I don't know if you're a gamer, right? Clearly, you need the speed to play very exciting games, right? And then, right? So the volume is so high, and then need for trustless is not as much. And so that's why gaming developers would prefer to build on the Nova. Okay, and these are like expanding list of the titles we have. And then it's really good to know that Arbitrum is really emerging as the go-to kind of L2 network for games. So I was just in San Francisco 3 weeks ago for the world's biggest game developer conference called GDC. And I saw an increasing number of gaming titles being built on Arbitrum and being showcased there, right? Aside with all the other kind of Web2, other gaming kind of studios. The one that I like, I mean, I don't know if you're a gamer. If you are, take a picture of it and then you can follow up. The one actually I like is Pirate Nation. It's an RPG, a role-playing game that allows you to own a pirate, fight or team up with other pirates for rewards. You can build your own island with your winnings from quests and so on and so forth. So it's actually quite fun. So I definitely encourage you to try it. Big win for the Arbitrum ecosystem was Ape DAO. I think you know them more for the BAYC. It's the ApeCoin DAO is the governing body for the ApeCoin. Just voted to build its games on Arbitrum Nova. So huge win for the Arbitrum ecosystem, right? So a lot of these gaming studios also really looking to Arbitrum to build these gaming scenarios. So lots of excitement here. Cool. Arbitrum Orbit. Now, there's a whole entire session, so I also don't want to steal the thunder from this one, so I'll really lightly touch on this. But I think when you think about Arbitrum Orbit, the key word is customization. Okay, just if there is anything that you should remember is that, right? You allow builder to choose the technology component that suits the user's needs and without making any sacrifices. So you can support both L2, L3 chains. You can choose settle on Ethereum as an independent layer 2, or use an Arbitrum 1 or Nova or any other rollup, right? And then you can really look at weigh the pros and cons of each kind of option, and then really choose it for yourself. Now, what are the benefits of launching an Orbit chain? Again, our next speaker will talk more in depth about this, so I don't want to steal thunder from this. But long story short, 2 buckets. Utilize Arbitrum technology stack in terms of security to build your own blockchain, and tap into Offchain Labs network of trusted providers. Okay, so. And then the Orbit also chain is expanding very fast. So currently there are about 20 plus Orbit chains publicly announced and 50 plus Orbit chains in development, right? So Caldera, Conduit, Allayer, all providing support to teams looking to build on this. And I really hope to see some developers in Vietnam also start really paying attention and build on this too. Okay, I think that's enough for a lot of technology. You can tell I'm not the most technical person. But okay, let me take a little bit of drink. Okay, now what else? Another strength of, I think, Arbitrum ecosystem is its decentralization. So it is the largest layer 2 network, as I mentioned, but it is most decentralized. And And it's really the universal. I mean, I know I get a little bit technical about this, but it is really the only universal layer 2 that has advanced to stage 1 in terms of the decentralization. Right. So if you want to really know about like which ones are decentralized apps that have been developed on the thing, I will give you a list of the links that you should check out to really get that. And then Arbitrum is very community driven. We have what we call Arbitrum DAO that was established in March 2023 and has a tremendous job of taking over the governance of Arbitrum 1 and Nova that I mentioned. Right. And this is where they will review the Arbitrum improvement proposals day and night to make the Arbitrum a better ecosystem, more decentralized. And what does it mean for you is you want to build on a chain that's governed by community, not governed by one single owner or a set of the centralized entities, right? Because that is the whole beauty of building in Web3. So the next couple slides are going to be, well, 3 slides are going to be very important for you because what does it all mean for you, right? So first, how can you participate in this ecosystem? First, we have what we call ambassador program. What the hell is that? You can be an ambassador. You can represent Arbitrum in your local community, lead virtual or in-person meetups, create your own content about, the products I just mentioned, grow your personal network, so on and so forth. There are already 156, and I'm pretty sure I need to update this number. 156 ambassadors from 32 countries representing Arbitrum all over the world. And we are meeting them like kind of every day. Right. The other one is grants program. If you're a developer who is itching to build something amazing, the next, DeFi or the next, gaming on the Web3, there is a grant program. So if you're a developer or early stage team, you can get the support. And the thing is, it's not just only, it's very community driven, but not only about like financial support that we give. I'm actually providing also like a marketing kind of workshop to these grantees, right? Because you have to not only learn about how to build a business, but also how to market it, right? So this is where we try to give more than the funding help. Also, you can participate in these marketing campaign activations. There are 2 that we have did. One is currently right now, focus on the gaming. It's an 8-week on-chain gameathon designed to highlight the most innovative gaming experiences in the Web3. So check it out if you have time. This one, sorry, I wish it was a QR code. I suggest you take a screenshot of this because this is like where, sorry, you have to, I don't know what's the best way, but yeah, this is where I think you can like click and then find out more about what I just talked about. Okay, 2 more. Please follow us on Twitter or x.com. We just hit a 1 million follower, a big milestone for us. And this is, I think, I wish I could live here and then give you guys a talk every day to, update. But now we all go digital, right? This is the best way for you to get update from us, right? So please, if you feel like Arbitrum is, you want to stay connected with us, this is, please follow us on Twitter. Okay. So this is the today's agenda. So yeah, we have a whole, we'll end at 3:30. We have some merch, so shrags. I don't know how you say it in Vietnamese. That if you stay till lunch, we'll distribute. And if you join after lunch, if you stay here, we also distribute. So there's more incentive for you to stay. Yes. Okay. I know those who just joined or joining. And if you have not joined the Telegram, please go. I think it's on the screen. And please download the Stylus and Orbit SDK now. It will take a while. So do that because I think especially the afternoon session is going to be quite hands-on programming. So if you don't have it, it's going to be a little bit hard for you to try and so on and so forth. Okay. With that, I would like to hand it over to Jason.
Okay, today I will introduce you about our orbit as Taka has already introduced to you, but for this I will introduce you about the orbit more take. So if you are some developers, so you maybe need this. Okay, so who I am? I'm Jason, and I based in China now. I'm integration engineer at Off-Chain Labs. Off-Chain Labs is the team to build the Arbitrum. So we build Arbitrum 1, we build Arbitrum Nova, and we also have some. We also build some take like Arbitrum Natural and Arbitrum Stylus. Also, the Arbitrum Orbit is what I will introduce now. If you have any technical question about Arbitrum or about the Web3 technology, you can just add my Telegram. My Telegram is there, so feel free to add me and drop any question. Okay, so what is Arbitrum Orbit? We all know Arbitrum 1 and Arbitrum Nova has a lot of users on it, but with the time flows, so there might be more needs to use Arbitrum. So just Arbitrum 1 and Arbitrum Nova may not enough. So we introduced the Arbitrum Orbit to allow people or allow other teams to build their own chain, their own application chain to sit on Arbitrum 1, Arbitrum Nova, or any other layer 1, layer 2. So uh, with the Orbit, you can build your own application chain like the game chain. If you want to build your own game, you just if you just build on Arbitrum 1, it might be so crowded. So if other dApps or other games on Arbitrum 1 has a lot of users, it may increase the gas price on Arbitrum 1 or Arbitrum Nova. So if you build your own Arbitrum Orbit, you don't need to worry about that. You own your chain, and the users on your chain is just for your own game. So it will be easier for you to have your own chain. So with the Orbit, you can also build your own smart contract, like I said. So what is smart contract? I will introduce you is smart contract is simply a program which is built on the blockchain. Like if you want to build some apps, some dApps, or some game or other applications, you can just deploy your own smart contract. You don't need to worry about the contract. The contract doesn't mean the real contract. It's just a code, a program run on blockchain. So why we call it as a contract is because the logic is predefined. So nobody owns the smart contract, but just the users or the blockchain owns the smart contract. It doesn't like the application offered by some centralized big company like Google or like other company. The blockchain smart contract is owned by the blockchain itself, so it won't be contract. It won't be controlled by any other part. So you don't need to worry your data will be locked by others. So this is a smart contract. So okay, let's back to the Arbitrum Orbit section. At the start, the Arbitrum Orbit just allow you to deploy your own chain on Arbitrum 1 or Arbitrum Nova. Also, the testnet called Arbitrum Supporter. But we know it's kind of not user friendly because someone also want to build their orbit on layer 1 like Ethereum or other layer 2 like base or other ZK jobs. So at that time, if you want to deploy your layer 2, you need to get the permission from our DAO. But now we introduce our Arbitrum expansion program, which allow you to deploy your orbit permissionless on any other Ethereum-based chain like Ethereum itself or Base or Optimism or other ZK rollups. Okay, so this is how Orbit chain looks like. You can now build on layer 2 or layer 3. There is not so much difference between those two. It's the only difference between you build on a layer 2 or layer 3 is just the base layer is different. So if you want to build on layer 3, you will have a cheap layer 2 base, so you can send your transaction to layer 2 frequently. But if you build a layer 2, you can just directly get on the Ethereum, so your users can onboard your chain from Ethereum directly. They all have their pro and con, so it depends on your need. Also, not only the technology, you can also build your chains by rollups or any trust. I think this is already introduced by Taka, and I will introduce you more about rollup and any trust later. So for now, as I introduced before, the orbit chain just like this. You can have your orbits like those two type. You can enjoy it or whatever you want. So okay, what is the orbit and what does the orbit do when they deployed? So if you want to deploy your orbit, it's just like a layer 2 chain or layer 3 chain, but you need to deploy the smart contract on the base chain to secure your orbit chain. Like if you want to transfer your funds to your orbit, you need the smart contract on the base chain, and also you will have the fault proof system on the base chain. The fault proof system also needs a smart contract like inbox contract, like rollups contracts or other fault proof contract. So those contracts you need to deploy on the base chain. And how you can customize your chain is you can customize anything. You don't need to follow any rules, but just customize is whatever you want. For example, if you want to have your chain, the gas token is your own token, not the ethers or other tokens. You can have a customized gas token. Also, we all know there are many EIPs to expand the Ethereum blockchain, but some EIPs may not go online due to some reasons. So with the Orbit, you can just deploy any EIPs, like the EIP 1153 and also others EIPs. Besides that, you can also have your native account abstraction on your Orbit chain. So what is this? This is technology which can let your users to send a transaction but without any gas fee. We know some people afraid to use the blockchain is because every transaction you send to blockchain needs a gas fee. So it will be some it will be kind difficult to use because you need to charge your money or use your money to send the transaction. But with this, you can let your users to send the transaction without any funds, without any gas fee. So this is good for others who want to onboard more users on blockchain. And for the third part is access console. The access console is to use to, if you want to build a AI chain or some other chain, but you don't want to open it to all users, you can have the access console. So only the users in whitelist can use your chain, and also any other else you think of. Also, I will introduce you about the pre-compare contract to customize later. And for the gas price reliability is what I introduced before. So like what I said, if you use Arbitrum 1 or Ethereum, you will find there are many other dApps on the blockchain. So if other dApps have more users to send the transaction, it may increase the gas price on Arbitrum 1 or on Ethereum. So it will be kind of annoying to let your user to have a high gas price. So for this, you can deploy your own Orbit chain. It will have your own block space, so you don't need to worry about other debts will affect your gas price. In case of this, so you can have more people, more users to use your chain, and also other customizations logic. For example, if you have a large community, you can build your own governance systems, or you can let your governance system to have your own vote logic. And for also, if you are familiar with the layer 2 or the modular blockchain, you will know it's also necessary to have other data availabilities layers, just like Celestia. So you can also choose your DA layers, the like Celestia, like layers, like all other layers. Also, the most interesting thing is you can do to customize your own challenge protocol, because the challenge protocol is a protocol to to secure your chain. Like the fraud proof Taka already introduced to you at the start. The challenge protocol like fraud proof, or you can also use the ZK proof to your Orbit chain. This is the all possible to your chains. Okay, so what is the opportunity to do? You can also find here. So for layer 2 or layer 3, if you directly use the layer 2, you will know some transaction might lead to send to layer 1, and the layer 1 has a super high gas price. Also it needs 12 seconds to include your transaction. So with layer 3, you can send your transaction to layer 1 more frequently, because the layer 2 is cheap enough, and you don't need to worry about the block time, because the block time on layer 2 is just it's super fast, and sometimes even lower than 1 second. Also with Orbit, you can enjoy all the future updates from the off-chain apps, just like the Stylus. The Stylus is a tech to which allowed you to deploy the contract not only the Solidity, but also some Rust, C++, C uh, C language. So if you are familiar with those three language, you can now use Stylus to deploy your contract, which we will introduce you this afternoon. With the Stylus, if you are familiar with Rust or C++, you will know those two language can be used to onboard some AI program. So with the Stylus, you can even onboard your AI to the blockchain, which is super interesting to see. And of course, the benefit of Orbit is you can also bridge your token to your Orbit more cheaper. For example, if you bridge a token from layer 1 to layer 2, you may need more than $10 to send that. But if you want to bridge the token from layer 2 to layer 3, it only costs one one cent or even more cheaper. So if you want to use users to spend less money on this, you can definitely deploy your own Orbit layer 3. Okay, so how can you launch your own Orbit chain? Here we go. I will introduce you how to launch it. So if you want to launch your Orbit chain, you can visit this website. This website will guide you to launch your Orbit chain super easily. So let's go to this website. So if you go to this website and click the deploy new Orbit chain, you will find the UI. Here we have two choices for you to deploy. One choice is ROAPS and another choice is Uniswap. So what is the difference between rollups and antitrust? Their main difference is here. Sorry, about the DA to send to the blockchain. The DA is the blockchain data which it needed to be backed up. So so you can restore your chain anytime from read the layer 2. If you read your layer 2, you can restore your layer 3 directly. So this is rollups. Rollups will send all the blockchain data, we call the DA, the data availability data, to layer 2 chain. But for any trust, it just send the DA to the data availability commit. So it will be much cheaper because the DSA won't cost too much to store your data. And it will, after it store your data, it will generate a signature back to the sequencer, and the sequencer will send the signature to layer 2 chain directly. So for the any trust, the layer 2 chain that just need to store the signature, but for rollups, it need to store all the DA data. So as for this, any trust will be much more cheaper than the rollups, but rollups has all data backed up, so rollups will be more permissionless and more security than any trust. So for the user case, any trust can be used to do some game or do some other depths needs a lot of gas. And for the rollups, you can build your own decentralized finance apps on the blockchain, like the decentralized exchange or other decentralized applications, which may need more security. So after you choose the chain type, you will, for example, if we choose the rollups type, okay, then you will say those field, and those field has a lot of information like chain ID. The chain ID is the ID to specific your chain. So others, so when users send a transaction to your chain, users will have this chain ID to specific the transaction is sent to your chain. So there won't be the double spending issues here. And the chain name, you can just change it to any other chain name you like. Maybe the frog chain or other chain or rabbit chain or any other chain you like. Then it's about the challenge period. The challenge period is for the fault proof and also for your chain security, and others is a stake tokens. The stake token is when there is a new validators to join your network. The validators need to stake the token to secure your chain. So for here we use ETH as an example, and others you can also change it. For example, the owner of your chain to, you can also set the owner to the DAO address. So if your chain need to upgrade, it will need the DAO's approve. And okay, so this is all the need. After you click the next, you will get this UI, and it will ask you to send the transaction to deploy your chain. After you deploy your chain, you will say this UI, and this UI will have some information about your chain. Those two information is to help you deploy the chain and run the chain. So you can also, if you want to run your chain, you need to download it, and it will get you those two files. Okay, so after you get those two files, you need to visit the Orbit setup script repo and download this repo. Use the Git pull. Then you download this scripts, and you need to install some toolkits from it. So yum install, and later The second part is to run your chain. If you run the Docker Compose app, it will run your chain directly. So your chain is now running. And but this is just to start your chain, and your chain doesn't have others contract deployed. For example, the bridge contract. If you want to onboard your users, you definitely need to deploy some bridge contract. So after that, you need to run this line. This line will help you to deploy your other contract which is needed to onboard your users. Then if all set, you can just run this command to see the logs. And this is the link to this script. I will send this slides in the Telegram group later. Okay, so now it's all done. Now you can have your chain running on this URL. If you want to visit your chain or send any transaction to your chain, you just send it to this URL. This URL will accept any RPC request. So you can send any ETH RPC request to this link like to query your block numbers or query the histories block. And you will also have the block scores running on this URL. It will run on the 80 port, so you don't need to add the port at the end. Okay, so this is all we need. After you run the script, after you run this script, it will also generate a file named output info.json. This file will contain the chain config and some cool contract address, also the token bridge contract address. So you can just use this output info to then copy that to our bridge website and insert this output info.json to that website. Then that website can recognize your chain and to let your users to send the assets or their other tokens to your chain. Okay, that example is for Zops. So what if we want to deploy the AnyTrust blockchain? So the main difference is here, the gas token. If you want to deploy your chain with the gas customized gas token, you need to deploy the AnyTrust chain. The AnyTrust chain allow you to use any your own tokens to be the gas tokens. For example, if you launch your own token named Force, so you can just choose the customize and then input your tokens address into here. It is headed. So after that, you can click the deploy. Then it will deploy your chain. So for the custom gas token, you need to care about is the custom gas token just allow you to be the standard ERC20 tokens. If you have your ERC20 token with 18 decimals, so you can use it. But if you want to use some token with other decimals, maybe it's not work because the code because of the code base. Like if you want to use a USDC, it may not work because USDC doesn't use 18 decimals. So others is just to tell you, you need to use the standard ERC20 tokens. Okay, after you deploy it, you will see your K set. The K set is the key to specific what is your DSA and what number of your DSA members. So it will record it on your base chain. So when your AnyTrust send the AnyTrust say signature or the data to L1 or the data to the base chain, it will check the key set and to check if the signature is right or not. Besides that, we also have the Orbit SDK. You may say the UI just let you to deploy the standard orbit. So if you want to deploy some advanced orbits, you can use our SDK. The SDK has a lot of examples. Those are the examples. You can deploy the customer fee token rollups or also the ETH rollups and also other node config. You can call your orbit, use the SDK to upgrade the node config also. So it will be quite easy to use that if you don't want to use the UI to deploy your chain. Okay, those are the resources and the tools you may need if you want to deploy your Orbit chain. Those introduction are just for the simple users. So if you want to have more more details on the Orbit, you can visit our docs. These docs will guide you to deploy your chain and customize your chain. And also we have the tools to monitor to your Orbit chains. You can also go to this GitHub repo and download the tool. Okay, that is for the Orbit chain. If you want to do more advanced test on your Orbit chain, or you want to customize your chain more advanced, I will introduce you about this. So before this, I need to introduce you about the state transition function. We call it as STF. So the STF defines how the blocks are produced from the input message. Like if you have the user's transaction to your blockchain, then the blockchain will use the STF to get your transaction and then output the state and also the L2 blocks. Here is what our STF like. So if this is the load, then those two parts is the STF. The first part is just for users to use, like the RPC method or some other tools. User can use this to query the chain. So after this is the STF system. The STF system will help you to execute your transaction. Next, the OS will manage the system running and the guest query will execute your transaction. So if you want to do some customize to your chains, you might will affect the STF, but you also won't affect the STF. So in what way you do to your blockchain will infect the STF is if you want to add a new RPC method to query the chain, it won't, because the RPC method is in this part, and if you just query the chain, it won't need to do any execution on chain, so it won't affect the STF. So you are free to just edit it. And also, if you want to add some change to your sequencer, like you want to have some tips when your sequencer accepts the transaction and order the blocks, you can also change it, because it will either won't affect the transaction execution, because the transaction will first be audited by the sequencer and then input to the STF to execute. So those two examples won't affect your STF. But for those two other examples, like if you want to add some OP code, the OP code is kind of low-level code which is used to be read by your machine. And also, if you want to add a new pre-compare, the pre-compare will also lead to you to modify the STF. Because the pre-compare will be called by other contract or other users, and this pre-compare will talk to the OS directly. So besides that, if you want to change your smart contract, like the smart contract, like let the smart contract won't charge any gas from your users, you can also need to change the bar, change the but it will affect the STF also, because imagine if you add this, and after that some other load to sync the load, you charge the users only a few gas, but after that other load want to sync the transaction, but it doesn't change the STF, it will charge the users as usual. So it will be different after execute the transaction. The users funds will be deducted wrong. So as we introduced here is a pre-compare. So what is a pre-compare? The pre-compare is another type of smart contract. Like we just introduced the what is a smart contract as a start. So for this, the pre-compare is predefined contract which is which is not deployed by the users or other contract, but it was deployed during the chain genesis or during the chain upgrade. So this pre-compared is deployed on the protocol level rather than the application level. The pre-compare contract can be any contract, like if you can use a pre-compare to calculate the hash, or you can use the pre-compare to do some advanced computations. So this is what pre-compare does. In sum, is the pre-compare is deployed on the protocol level, so it will not be deployed by the users. So here is an example if you, how to edit the existing pre-compare if you want to customize your orbit chain. For this, you need to open the, if you want to just to edit but not add, so you just need to open the existing pre-compare file, and then when you go to this file, you can add your new method or edit the existing method. The method is to define how your pre-compare executes, and the pre-compare is written by the Go language. Then you need to upgrade the contract API. The contract API is the interface of the contract. If your users want to call your contract, it will use this contract API to call your contract. Because if you are a coder, you will know if you want to call other method, you need to know the interface of that method. So this is how smart contract works here. Then after you change your logic and update the contract API, you can compare the natural source code. The compare is super simple because we already have the tool for you to compare it, and then after you compare the natural source code, you will get the new Watson module root. The Watson module root is a root for your STF. For example, if you change your STF, you need to let your base chain to know the correct of your natural code. So this is what is recorded on the base chain to verify. When you get the new Watson module root, you need to register this new Watson module root to your base chain's ROPS contract. Then you can finally run your load. So what if you told me you don't want to edit the existing one, but you want to create your new pre-compare? Okay, we can do this too. The main difference is you don't need to open the existing one, but you just need to create a new pre-compare file, and then you need to create a new contracts ABI file too. Then you need to choose a pre-compare managing files, managing code to register the pre-compare. Then the other part is almost the same to the first one. Okay, we have a sentence which is talk is nice. Show me your code. Okay, so now we can show you the how to edit this through the code. Here we will use add the new pre-compare contract as the example. So we will use this page as an example. So here is our Electro code base, and you need to find a directory named pre-compares, and then you need to add a new file here. The new file, because it's just an example, so we just call it as RB high. So because it's RB high, so it's a very simple contract. We'll just return a high string when you call it. So this is a logic we define. And then you need to register your contract ABI. So you need to go to the contract directory and find the SRC, then find the pre-compares and create your new ABI here. Because we called it RB high before, so we also named it RB high here. You need to make this file as solidity contract because it's a solidity ABI. So here is what the ABI looks like. Also, it's just a contract interface, so you don't need to create APIs. It will create the API for you, but you just need to write down your interface, your smart contract interface. So after this, you need to register your pre-compare contract, and you need to go to this file. This file is used to manage your pre-compare, all your pre-compare contracts. So here, when you go to this file, you need to find a method called pre-compares, and this function will help you to register your pre-compare. Then you can find this line. This line is a new line to register your pre-compares. The method just called insert. Then you can call this insert and call make pre-compare for it. Here is the address of the contract, because we all know the pre-compare contract is almost the same to the user deployed contract. So as the user deployed contract has the contract address, so the pre-compare contract also have the address. So we just give it a super simple address which is 11A. Okay, after this, you need to deploy you need to compare your chain. So the compare is super simple. You just need to go to our Nitro code base and type make Docker. Then it will help you to compare the source code. But it may take some time, maybe maybe 20 minutes to compare it. So after this, the load will be compared and will be made to a Docker image. Then you can run the Docker image to the Watson module root. Just use this line. After that, you will get your new Watson module root. So how to register new Watson module root to our smart contract is super simple. You need to find the file which we generate after you deploy your Orbit chain. One of the file has those information, like the jobs contract address and the upgrade executor address. So for this you only need two address of those two. Then you can go to call this method through your jobs contract. So if you want to call your jobs contract, you need to go to the contract and you need to use your upgrade executor and call it from the upgrade executor. Then if you go to the upgrade executor and you will find a method called execute call. So this is the function we need to call. Then you need to input your target here. The target is your jobs contract address, and the target call data is start with this number. This number is the signature of the method name set Watson module root. So you need to start with those code and then followed by your Watson module root. Then you put it together and you just call this method. Then okay, so after that your Watson module will be upgraded, and you can test it from your jobs contract directly. You can call your jobs contract this method named Watson module root, and then you will get the module Watson module root like this. So okay, so our pre-compare contract is all done. So after this, if you want to call your pre-compare, you can just use the cast call. The cast call is a Foundry toolkit, so you just call it. The address is what we said before, and the say hi is the method we defined before. Okay, so let's call it, and then it will result the hi, just as we defined before, just as we defined here. So it will successfully return you the volume. Okay, so this is how to change the STF code. If you want to do more things about the STF, you can visit our docs and also you can this link is wrong, but you can also find the customized the pre-compare link around this link. Okay, so this is how Orbit works, and if you want to change your Orbit, customize your Orbit, you also it's also here. Here is an example to change your Orbit. So thank you. If you have any question, please feel free to ask here, or also you can at my Telegram, so we can chat there too. Thank you. Any question? Any question? Okay, if you don't want to ask question here, you can also ask me via the Telegram.
Thanks, everyone. Can we have another round of applause, please, for Jason? So, okay, a couple things. Right now it's lunch, sponsored by Arbitrum. So it's at a different place. You have to go downstairs and then turn to the right. That's where you'll be having your lunch. Okay, so before you head out, I'm going to be at the door with some Arbitrum swag. So feel free to get it from me. And do come back in time for the session later at about 1:30. Yeah, okay? So for the next session, it's a hands-on workshop. So please bring your laptops and I'll see you later, okay? Don't forget, it's a different lunch place. Let me just get to the back.